Welcome to Lord's Raceway, Bendigo. Been an absolute ripping winter's day, Troy Harley, mate. We're back here to preview the Bendigo Gold Rush Carnival, and it's a big day coming up. The track looks enormous, nice and wet, ready to go.
Yeah, the weather's been very kind. As kind tomorrow. It's quite funny that these feature races have been run tomorrow. Normally run at Easter and autumn, and you'd think that we're in Easter and autumn with the weather we've had. But yeah, mate, the track looks magnificent. The two boys, Mick and Aaron, do a wonderful job, and they've left a couple of hours back now and turned the sprays on. And Mick will be getting ready to crack a nice cold ale and watch his beloved Richmond Tigers tonight. And they'll be back here bright and early tomorrow for arguably as good a twilight race meeting as what I've seen in my time here at Bendigo, just for depth wise. And the Gold Rush Maiden's obviously our feature race, the Jarrod, Larkin, Concreting Gold Rush Maiden. There's some exciting stars of the future in that. But the Stayers Cup, depth wise, well, we've had some out and out champion Stayers race here at Bendigo, the 660, the Irma Bales and the Burn One Downs and Proven Impalas and Co. To have a race that combined have won nearly $1 million in prize money.
That's amazing.
Contested 15 group races, and just the depth of that staying race as a race overall is as good a 660 event as what we've had since we were out on the track here 8.5 years ago. So looking forward to tomorrow's racing.
I am getting converted, I must say. Some of these figures these greyhound guys come up with are just absolutely phenomenal. You've done a great job. I think you've excelled yourself. You don't do a lot of homework, but you have actually excelled yourself. You've done a rip and preview here for the punters at home to sit back and just have a recap of the 5 heats and probably refresh themselves as well. We'll throw to those 5 heats and we'll come back afterwards for a little bit more of an in-depth talk about them.
Heat 1 of the 2020 Gold Rush Maiden Series saw Zipping Albert from box number 3 sent to the box as a $2 punters elect. And after being moderately away and finding a little bit of trouble in the back straight, Zipping Albert soon found open space on the side and powered the line in 12.26 and stopping the clock for trainer Karen Pitt in 23.77.
Was accused coming up to the corner. Zipping Albert, after just a moderate getaway, has ripped away up the home straight, and Zipping Albert by about 6 lengths. Nifty Nelly second, third.
Heat number 2 saw the latest member of the exciting Basketball Nalak litter for Dallas Massena debut. And the punters that took the $1.50 had no cause for concern as the speedster clocked 6.42 to the first mark and was never headed in a 6-length victory in 23.73.
Home corner though, and it's Lalina, the odds-on favourite, streeting them up the straight, and a very impressive win to Lalina. Second, Zipping Tiffany worked home.
The third heat of the Gold Rush Maiden was a little bit more of an open affair, with 4 runners finding support from punters. After the locally trained Espresso Eclipse showed terrific speed to lead early, it was left for the Michelle Nolan Zero Cool to storm down the outside and lock her spot in for the Rich final, posting 24.01 coming from well off the speed.
Alpha coming up to the corner, narrow leader Espresso Eclipse, but it's been challenged quickly. Zero Cool on the outside, swept up, hit the front. Zero Cool has raced away, won it by 3 or 4 to Webleck Blue.
Heat number 4 was another open event, but eventually it was Music Event that was sent to the box as a $3 favourite. The former New South Wales sprinter, now in the care of astute trainer Michael Carter at Kyala, made his debut at Bathurst as a 16-month-old pup. After 2 unsuccessful runs there, certainly showed the ability he has, posting 6.42 in the first split and maintaining that momentum all the way to the line, clocking the fastest heat time of 23.62.
Then Game Go Ship, but around the corner, Music Event having its first run in Victoria for Mick Carter is going to bolt in Music Event by 6 lengths. Webleck Wheel second, third nice.
Betting in the 5th and final heat was dominated by Mario Briganti's debutante Rockstar Ruby. But those that took the $1.50 the Fernando Boa Red Rocks youngster off the Red Alley had their heart in the mouth until approaching the home turn when eventually Rockstar Ruby checked off the hills of the leader and found galloping space to be able to career away for a solid 24.16 victory.
And Mandalo, but around the corner, Rockstar Ruby managed to work to the front. The odds-on favourite's been a good win. Rockstar Ruby, 2.5 year easy, third lead.
So you have a great rate, mate. I think that's very, very impressive. Give people a little bit of a different feel for it from a trotting point of view, mate. For someone like myself, coming back and actually having a look at it, there were some great runs. A couple of dogs getting checked over heels and the likes, and there's a couple of superstars out in front just flying along.
Yeah, there was, mate. Obviously, when you talk about inexperienced animals, the speed is the key to most of the things. That's what made impressive performances by the likes of Zipping Albert, Zero Cool and Rockstar Ruby to win their respective heats from off the speed and overcoming some trouble. But the Speed Dogs Music Event and Lalina. Lalina's a member of a hot litter. Mother Nalak won the Gold Rush Maiden here in 2016 and there's been 7 or 8 of these grounds. Been very, very impressive already to date. And it'd be interesting to see if there's any more with a billy in the litter. But they clocked 6:42, both Music Event and Layla into the first mark, which is just sizzling sections. I mean, once you start breaking 6:50, you're seriously high quality performances. And to put into perspective the times on the day, Shimba Breeze won basically the free-for-all race, and she'll be back for the Cup. She ran 23:68, I think, off memory. And these grounds have run 62, 73 and 77. So they're not far off a greyhound that's won a couple $100,000 in prize money and his group performed. So you're talking some pretty smart, promising youngsters amongst them. And the always intriguing thing about maiden finals is how dogs improve from having their first performance in a field. It's like the debut run can look very impressive, particularly the boxes they draw and what's around them, and all of a sudden they're put in a field where there's not a lot between them. It's just going to be very interesting to see how that goes. Like all finals, luck plays a huge part. But on paper, the race looks like Music Event and Lalina will be out in front highballing. Whether that gives a ground like Zipping Albert the opportunity to get the drop on them and stalk them to the first turn of the side. And if those two do have to do a fair bit of work, there's no question he's got a couple of lengths on the others in the run home. And even a ground like Zero Cool probably looked like it was well boxed in box 7, goes to box 1, but very strong. And Rockstar Ruby, who was a short price favourite and found a bit of trouble off the red, she looked like she wanted to get off. So she may actually be boxed okay in box 8, and despite the fact that she looks on paper a long way behind them on times, just depends on what happens up front. I mean, as I said, if everything goes according to plan, Music Event and Lalina, they'll lead, and whether or not they can cut each other straight, a dog like Zipping Albert or Rockstar Ruby can pounce on them. But it's hard to see any one of the three not winning the race. Music Event, Zipping Albert and Lalina, but they have drawn 4, 5 and 6 in a young dog's race, and maybe the benefit of having 3 career starts now for Music Event, that may just put him a little bit ahead.
I'm no greyhound expert, never have been. Some of the races looked very messy early on, like getting away, and the likes of a couple of the dogs were checked over heels, fighting for position. You said just then that the 1 likes to be out wide, it's drawn in. The 8 likes to draw in, it's drawn out. Is there a potential for a lot of carnage early? Is there a risk of that in this race?
Yeah, I'm not sure about carnage. I reckon they haven't drawn bad to have carnage, and most of them seem to be reasonably smart, but certainly a lot of checkered runnings and checkered passage, and that's what can happen. If Music Event and Lalina do have to do a fair bit of work, they can take a couple of tenths off their performance and let one of those dogs that have sort of got a suck run behind them finish too powerfully. But as I said, maiden heats in particular, they're like 2-year-old trots or a 2-year-old 800-metre dash at a thoroughbred race. Just when the box is open, what they do is what they do, and these dogs are the cream of the crop at the moment. And what they'll come through, and you'll find a few of the dogs behind them were pretty good runs, and you might see them in a couple of weeks' time coming back for the Vic Breeders and just improve with that experience, as Music Event has. His first 2 runs was only a 16-month-old pup at Bathurst for Alan Pringle, raced like a 16-month-old pup, has come back a little bit better, seasoned, a little bit better, did everything right, just a little bit more education, a little bit more maturity, and bang, he was on song the other night. And it should be a terrific race. But I think 4, 5 and 6, there's no doubt they're the 3 runners at this stage. There's probably another couple of runners in the race that in 6 months' time you go, well, how did he get beat? But I think out of those 3, and with the way that they're drawn, I'm actually leaning towards Zipping Albert. I think he can just sit a length and a half off at the first turn and just stalk them, and as soon as they make a mistake, be too strong. But terrific race, and $10,000 the winner of that maiden event. It's certainly nothing to be sneezed at for a young dog.
It's a maiden final, good quality races. Dogs are immature. How do our trainers stack up as far as maturity? Is it a wide-ranging sort of group of people? Is there going to be some people a little bit more on edge tomorrow than a lot of the others? Maybe take it in their stride.
Yeah, no, I think they'll take it in their stride, mate. It's pretty rare in a race like that. Had it been a Group 1 race, there might be a couple there a little bit more on edge tonight and sleeping with a little bit more nervousness, but no, they're pretty experienced, most of the trainers, and all very good quality trainers, and that's what it was. There was no issue in having confidence backing their debutants last week.
Yeah, and it's a great series. It's been a ripper day. I mean, it's a bit overcast now. We're probably a little bit late getting up. It's been a ripper day. Tomorrow's same thing. A little bit of chance of rain towards the end of the evening. Then there's not much predicted earlier, so good times. Should be a good even race meeting.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's the rain sort of doesn't bother the track too much, and obviously with no one allowed on track apart from the trainers, it's not going to influence our day too much. But as long as the wind stays away and it doesn't sort of upset the apple cart in terms of the pattern of racing, it's what you want to see, a nice calm day, and a little bit of rain doesn't sort of bother too much, but it actually just saves us watering the track sometimes. So.
Tourism Bendigo, you and me could do the job, because it has been absolutely sensational today. It is getting a little bit nippy. You've got two great races on the card, mate, coming up. You've got terrific local sponsors. We must not forget them. Jarrod, Larkin Concreting, you can see his phone number there, 0416 376 262. Or Grays Removal. They are actually the sponsors of the Stayers Cup, which is what we're about to roll over onto. And we'll have a little bit of a comprehensive thing. But well done to both sponsors. Anyone watching the footage, their names will be up just past the semaphore board there. Great sponsors of the club, and they contribute a lot of money towards it in sponsorship. And I would also imagine just a little bit of loyalty as well, both parties.
Yeah, certainly do. I mean, both parties are participants. The Grays family have been involved in dogs for a long time and still are. And like a punt and get a thrill out of the dogs winning, doesn't matter if it's a tier 3 on a Wednesday. There's always 10 or 12 of the family here when they've got runners involved. And Jarrod's just a newbie to the game, although he did skite to me during the week that he's had just got his trainer's licence a couple of months back. He's had 3 starters for 3 winners, and he reckons he's taken over from Alice as being the kingpin, and so to speak, of the family. But I'm still not sure about it. I still reckon Alice has most of the control. But they're both participants, which is a wonderful thing for us. And in these trying times, to have their support to continue and allow us to run these races is a wonderful thing for us to have.
I can tell Jarrod one thing. You're kidding, mate. We've met Alice. She's been on a couple of shows. You might be able to train, but that's as far as it'll go, mate. Just you keep believing that you'll be right. Stayers Cup, mate. We'll bring out the board here. It's a terrific field. You're saying great lot of runners, and what'd you say? $990,000 in stakes.
Yeah, I think just tick under $990,000 in stakes for the 8 runners, and with what they earn tomorrow, they'll basically be $1 million field after the race tomorrow. $12,000 the winner of the Grays Bendigo Stayers Cup, and I think between the top 4 runners in the market at this point in time, they've contested 15 group races. Rajasthan is already a Group 1 winner, winning last year's Sandown Cup. Torwitchery, a Group 2 winner, winning the launching pad and been multiple Group 1 finalist. Blazing Cartier has been Group 1 place and third in the Zoom top, and was recently in the Sandown Cup final, as was Zipping Clifford. So to have those greyhounds, and then you throw in the likes of Look Fancy Nancy, who's actually a half sister to Blazing Cartier, having her joined from New South Wales. An easy choice, an up-and-coming start. It's had 15 starts for 7 race wins, and the likes of Webleck Hayes. That to have those greyhounds sort of sitting on the fringe of the market, it just shows what quality the race is. And there's a fair bit of staying activity on at the moment, but to have that race and be fortunate enough to have this field going around tomorrow afternoon, and at 5:19 in the afternoon, it's certainly a big thing for us. But wonderful race. And at this stage, I think Blazing Cartier probably off the draw, off a 41.82 win at Sandown last start. I'd imagine it'll be favourite, but you can't write off the other greyhounds, the way their ability and their performances. And just interesting to see the young ones take on the old ones at times, particularly over the distance trip.
Jayville Slick on top pick for the Watchdog, and you not that keen, or?
Yeah, no, look at Jayville Slick, certainly not out of it. It's got plenty of ability, but I would have thought that there was 4 or 5 ahead of Jayville Slick in terms of the market and in terms of looking for a tip. But it's quite interesting. The Watchdog says that Torwitchery needs to lead and place best, and it wasn't that long ago that Torwitchery was starting in the top 3 in Group 1 races. So that's the type of race it is. So I certainly couldn't say that none of them have got no chance. I can guarantee you that. It's a wonderful race to have, and it's probably going to be $4 a field, or a similar sort of market to that. And that just shows what type of race it is. When normally these staying races, there's always 1 or 2 good dogs in it that dominate, and they're $1.50 chances, and they win, and it's a great spectacle. But this will be a terrific race.
Good to see. A lot of other great races on the program. I actually might have accidentally hit the wrong slide up there just before, so some people may have seen that there is coming up. That's the last 4 legs of the quaddie, which you're going to go over, but are we going to go run through for the rest of the fields very quickly, or do you want to just go to those quaddie legs, mate?
Yeah, mate, no, I think we can go through each race and try and find a winner or 2 or some multiples in each race. So I spoke about some of those races that went around last week in the maiden series, and Jason Formosa's got Espresso Eclipse in race number 1. It showed terrific speed to lead in Zero Cool's race, and just got a little bit tired in the run home, as you saw, and faded to finish third. But there's obviously you're going to drop back a little bit in grade when you're talking about a race like this. So I think Espresso Eclipse will be nice and hard to beat in the first number 2. Probably putting it on top from number 8, Yeah Easy. So if I went 2 and 8 in the first race. In race number 2, I think the Gary George trained Plumber looks nicely placed off.
What a great name.
The red Plumber. Yeah, it's a terrific race. Isn't it? Terrific name, isn't it? So I think Plumber and perhaps the Formosa boys with Flying Farouk can have a chance as a race-to-race double as well. But I think in race number 2, mate, we'd go with 1 and 4.
If Farouk gets up, I expect to see him on social media, boys.
Race number 3, I think Roots Rock Right is particularly well boxed out in box number 8. Imagine
glad I'm not a race
to
caller.
say that after a long night somewhere, but
I think trying to say it now.
I think the 3 outside dogs there are the dogs to look for. They're Roots Rock Right, Enid's Angel in 7, and Punk Lass Rocks in box number 6. So I think 6, 7, 8 there in race number 3 in a very open race.
Who is our race caller tomorrow night?
I haven't checked yet, but whoever it is,
good luck.
Make sure you practice tonight.
Good luck.
Race number 4, I think Ray Hennis will be nice and hard to beat. He was 2 up Tomo. He's drawn the red. He's a very nice, strong dog. Hasn't got a great deal of pace, but I think he can position up off the inside at the 500 metres and take some beating there. I think the wings are there. They're 1 and 8. Number 8 Seabrook Stack for Chris Stanton. I think they look the 2 runners in that race in 1 and 8. Mate, the maiden final is race number 5, the first leg of the quaddie. I think if you go 4, 5, 6 and anchor put those 3 as your first leg of the quaddie.
You're pretty confident on that too, aren't you?
Yeah, I think one of those will win. One of those 3 will win the race. I'm not confident which one, but if we go 4, 5, 6 in that leg of the quaddie. Race number 6, I mean, we're only a week and a bit out from the Bendigo Cup heats. And this race here, you've got Jim Zardashian, the track record holder, sitting in box number 5. Power of Oscar, the Warrigal 400 metre track record holder that clocked 23.50 odd here a couple of weeks back and sizzled at Warrigal after missing the kick last start. It's gone box 8. Midnight Monarch, an exciting youngster, only the 9 starts for 6 wins. Missed the kick here last week and still clocked 23.76, only getting beat 2 lengths behind Shimmer Breeze and Mapunga Daniel too. Very, very seasoned group performer. So there's a star of the future in Midnight Monarch. And Aston Peroni, he's probably going to start $10 and clock 29.47 at CNN a couple of weeks ago. But terrific race. I think any one of 4, 5, 7 and 8 can win race number 5, but probably race number 6 would probably go towards Power of Oscar off the box 8 draw, but a very, very good race and going to be a good form guide there for the Bendigo Cup.
It's very interesting. Jim Zardashian, you didn't tip it, the Watchdog hasn't tipped it either, and it is the track record holder, and it's just interesting.
I think it's more about racing patterns. I mean, Jim Zardashian, arguably the fastest dog in the country, 1 out, but can have a tendency to miss the kick. He's drawn box 5. He's going to get the clear run, the speed to burn in 7, and the ability in 8. Just it's one of those races that's it's like trying to tip the winner of a Golden Slipper. There's 5 or 6 stars in the race, and you just go with the box draws pretty much.
Race number 7, mate, the Grays Stayers Cup. Grays of Bendigo, should say, Stayers Cup. And what were your numbers in this one again?
Numbers here are 1, 2, and probably 6. So Blazing Cardio off the red. Torwitchery, the class runner in box number 2. And look, Fancy Nancy, I think will appreciate coming back to 660 and the open spaces here at Bendigo. So they're my numbers in the Stayers Cup.
Race 8,
Race 8,
Manning.
the Manning's Ground Complex, who also sponsors the Grade 5 series here on Cup Heat Day. Terrific race again. Max Tractor, he's performed with the best of them. He's certainly got to be one of the main chances. Last Hurrah comes off the back of faultless 600 metre form, and if he happens to find a position early, he's going to take plenty of beating. He's won 24 out of 57 overall in his career, so you can't do much more than that. And Hello Mavis having its first start. It's got terrific Gardens and New South Wales form having its first start for Jamie Ennis. But I'll probably lean towards Last Hurrah just off the box 8. Number 8 to beat 3 Max Tractor and 1 Hello Mavis in race number 8.
Tab Long May We Play. They get a lot of mileage out of these races, don't they? The Tab Long May We Play, they are sponsoring races everywhere.
They certainly have, and what a terrific advertising it's been in recent times. Their ads they've done for the Long May We Play, and Long May we continue to back winners with them as well. Mate, I'm going to go for drum beater for Jane Garland. I don't know that Jane's the drum beater, but I reckon Ian doesn't mind beating his drum. But I think drum beater for box number 6 for Jane Garland. I think it'll be nice and hard to beat from number 2, Rickalina Lass. I think if he goes 6 to beat 2 in race number 9.
Just quickly, does Jane train many greyhounds?
No, she's got a couple.
Yep.
They have a small team between them and do very, very well. He can always support their runners.
Well, and truly the better half of Ian Garland, that's for sure. The Super U live video stream, and Brian Coughlin, hello to you. Hopefully we'll get back to that show at some stage, mate. That's race number 10 on the card at 6:20.
Yeah, well, speaking of Coggo, it's probably one for him, You Fugitive. Number 1, I think. Well, very well named by Superman out of Inmate. But, I think this ground's at 11 starts for 5 wins, drawn perfectly. It comes off the back of 2 very, very impressive victories at Shepparton. I think it'll be nice and hard to beat from number 4, Zipping Pink, and 2 Blue Striker, but 1 You Fugitive on top in that one.
Interesting little name for the last one, Gentleman Thief. I don't know too many about that. In race 11, the Easecom Electrical of Bendigo.
Top tip too. Got plenty of mid-race pace for Dennis Trewin, Gentleman Thief. drawn Auckley in box 4, but was pretty impressive at the Meadows a couple of runs back, clocking 30.09 off only a 5.14 early, just sizzled through the middle sections. I think it'll be very, very hard to beat Gentleman Thief if given a bit of room in the first 5 or 10 metres over number 1 Fancy Fabio and 7 all in Redmond, but number 4 Gentleman Thief in race number 11.
And race number 12, Peter Brown Custom Homes, set to go at 6:58, so 7 o'clock finish.
Yep, so just in time to kick back and watch whatever footy's on Friday night. Very tough race. I hope you're winning before you come to the last. We'll go number 1 Landslide for Adele Power. Certainly dropping in class on its last couple of runs. Drawn the Gun Alley, has won 3 times off box number 2 out of its 5 career victories. So I think Landslide off box number 1 will be nice and hard to beat in the last race from Argyle Rebel in box 8 and Resi Shout in box 6. But number 1 Landslide to finish race number 12 on what should be an outstanding afternoon of greyhound racing here at Bendigo.
You've been very, very busy, mate, on some of your slides, and we didn't get around to putting this one up properly, but this is some of the feature events on the day, some of the things, the highlights. You put this up on your Facebook page, and anyone wanting to know who does all these, T. Harley does them himself, so he does a great job, but obviously the $10,000 Gold Rush at 4:40 is leg number 1. Leg 2, you've got here Aston Perani, Jim Zardashian, unbelievable these names, and Power of Oscar is one of the great clashes. Leg 3, the $12,000 Grays Stayers Cup, Blazing Cartier, Tuitri, and Rajasthan at 5:20. And then your last one, you've only got the 2 dogs in that Max Tractor, and Last Hurrah at 5:38 or 20 minutes to 6. So a good push for all of those, mate.
Yeah, just some of the big names that are going around in that leg of those 4 legs of the quaddie, and yeah, good luck if you're playing them, and if you get the right numbers through, there might be a bit of value there too, because there's certainly no dominant runners in any of those 4 heats, so it should be a great afternoon. And mate, while we're talking about those types of things, we're both wearing the Mark Hughes Foundation beanie. Tonight kicks off the Mark Hughes Foundation beanies for brain cancer round in the NRL. Yep. Starting off with the Newcastle Knights tonight, so we'll be kicking back and have a look at that. But beanies for brain cancer round, obviously we normally do quite a bit around the Mark Hughes Foundation, as well as some other charities that we'll mention next week that we normally get involved with around the cup time. But good luck to Mark Hughes and raising money and awareness for brain cancer research through the NRL round that kicks off tonight.
We'll say one thing. A lot of beanies get around this time of year, a lot of promotional stuff, and they're all great. I tend to put my hand in my pocket for them all. There's no worries there. I don't come much warmer, and when you're as follically tested as I am, I tell you can be a fair expert on what's a good beanie and what's a bad beanie. So, well done. Troy Harley, mate, good luck tomorrow. I won't be here. I'll be at sunny Shepparton, but good luck to you guys tomorrow night. And, yes, really ramping up for what's been a big couple of weeks and going to be two more really big weeks of greyhound racing here at Lord's Raceway Bendigo.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It's starting to warm up in winter, and looking forward to the next couple of weeks.
Getting cold right now, though. Thanks, Troy Harley.